And welcome back to ABC 7 Extra Sunday. Our guests tonight are TEA conservator Andrew Kim, excuse me, and Socorro School Board President Michael Nakata. Let's turn now, gentlemen, to another part of the TEA investigation, how the Socorro District failed to disclose that trustee Paul Guerra was involved back in 2021 in the deliberation and vote to award a contract to a company he works for as territory sales manager. Mr. Nakata, you returned to the school board earlier in 2021. Shouldn't you have stepped in when this discussion was taking place and say, Mr. Guerra, you need to leave the room while this is all being discussed?
Well, your statement that Mr. Guerra voted is not accurate at all.
That's what's
sir,
in the TEA report, sir.
There's nothing that requires a board member to step away. However, board members should abstain and not vote. Mr. Guerra did not vote on that particular item, and my action at the time probably would have been similar, because that was my understanding of what the regulation, as it had been presented to us. Now, of course, we've received additional education. I would say now I understand it clearly and know that we'll follow the correct process moving forward.
Now, Mr. Kim, the company that Mr. Guerra works for has been an approved vendor for nearly 10 years, as long as he's been a school board member. What steps are being taken now to correct this?
Well, I think one of the things that we do right now the board is engaged with is what's known as a Lone Star Governance Board training. It's a series of training throughout the year that we just launched that. And that's been a well received by the board. Certainly we will have a follow-up with the staff members coming up. But the Lone Star Governance is a model, not only in the state of Texas, but elsewhere, that really talks about the role of the board, their responsibility, their levels of accountability. And I think that level of engagement, and this is I'm telling you, a all day Saturday trainings and so forth. And the fact that we had our first series of those has been extremely well received. I was very proud to see the board members thoughtfully engageful in not only reflection of their work, but how to go about communicating better ways with each other as well, too, as a team. But certainly that will have reverberating effects in a very positive way to staff members, to the community and the parents. And once again, when you have individuals come together in the board of trustees, there's not a manual to do this right. And so it's going to take some training, it's going to take some work, and really, just honored to be part of that. And it's really good to see the board really taking on this ownership and the responsibility of doing this right.
All right, let's look at the last of the allegations that we're covering tonight from the TEA's report. Between 2016 and 2022, the Socorro District paid approximately $283,000 in unauthorized stipends to staff members. Now, these stipends were not approved by the school board, nor were they included in annual budgets. Mr. Kim, how were these discovered?
Well, one, I think they were already noted. And I think that that's something that obviously you're alluding to there. Going forward, this is once again, a process through the compensation, the business, or the budget process that we'll be looking at going forward. One of the discussions that we are having with by the way, the chief financial officer is new, who started about a week ago. The work that we'll be doing now with the board starting in January and going forward is a budget process that really looks at compensation a different way, in a whole scale, but certainly having the board more involved in ensuring that there's equitableness in terms of how we treat employees from a compensation perspective. Certainly looking at the overall budgetary situation, because that's where we have to start. And I think going forward, that's going to be the key factor in terms of what we do. Once again, these systems, are best practices that are employed by elsewhere, but really customizing it to the what Socorro Independent School District is about. And that's about really, once again, trying to figure out how to best serve our students through the best way of ensuring that our staff members are taken care of.
So, Mr. Nakata, were you and the other board members not aware of these payments being made?
If you look at the response that the district filed, you will see that what was the case of the appearance that they were not authorized was a misalignment in titles. Of course, as time goes on, titles change, and the titles as reflected in one system were not updated in the policy. Again, we've taken actions. We now review the policy consistently or periodically. We have made updates to ensure that there's alignment between the stipend policy as well as the titles within our other systems. And finally, we'll continue to review those going forward to make sure that there's equity in the stipends that the district pays and that they're necessary.
Now, Mr. Kim, you and Mr. Hinojosa have been on the job now for 8 months. How much longer do you estimate you have to work with the Socorro School District to get them back on track?
Well, Dr. Hinojosa was bold in making a comment that the board meeting the other night about a 2-year framework. Certainly, I've been thinking about a range, certainly about a 1 to 2 years in terms of that time period. There's no necessarily an arbitrary time limit in terms of whether or not we're going to be here for a prolonged time. It's really about executing on some of the areas that we're going to be working on. And so that executive summary has been drafted. It's been shared with the board president. We'll be actually editing those things to make sure that we're in alignment in terms of what we have certainly been talking about and identifying activities now going forward. And once a district meets those activities and comes to a level of standards that we feel comfortable with, that gets institutionalized for once again, the benefit of our staff members and our students, then certainly that time will be done for us to exit out and certainly turn the school district back to the board as well as the superintendent going forward.
Andrew Kim and Michael Nakada. Andrew Kim, TEA conservator, Michael Nakada, Socorro School Board president. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on ABC 7 Extra Sunday.
Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
And that's our show for this week. Next Sunday night, with the holiday shopping season in full swing, we'll look at the present and future of El Paso's shopping malls. I'm Mark Ross. Stay safe, stay strong. I'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching. ABC 7 News is now available on any of these streaming services, as well as the KVIA News and KVIA Weather and Traffic apps.